Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at episode 21 or episode 8 or 9, I think, of if you look at from like the second, if you look at it as the second season rather than a continuation of Bungo Stray Dogs season 2. Now, today's episode was very, very good. I especially like the later half of the episode, which I will talk about some things that I had issues with originally, and then I found out I was kind of wrong about. But overall, very, very solid episode. I really enjoyed it. I mean, this season of Bungo Stray Dogs in general is a lot better than the first season. And I love the first season, so that's to be saying something. So the beginning has some very comedic moments, especially with Dazai being kind of worn out and Kunikita talking to him and stuff like that. We learn that whatchamacallit, Dazai has a plan when he's talking to the leader of the agency, that he has a plan that's going to be laid out by Atoshi, who also apparently the leader of them is actually quite well aware of. And what's funny about this, by the way, this scene actually in general, was that Kunikita is looking at him like, wait, why are you meeting up with the poor mafia? Like, how are you doing that? He's like, oh, yeah, you're the only person not know, Kunikita, that I used to be in the poor mafia. And he's like, wait, what? What? I love that scene. It was great. We flash back to 8 years ago, though, real fast, just to show the kind of poor mafia leader in terms of how cruel and kind of wicked he is, where this old man who apparently was a leader of them also, how he was already at his deathbed, he was dying, and, the leader of the poor mafia cut his, throat. And it's like, oh, yeah, he died of illness. Yeah, sure. But it goes to show you how cruel he is. So that's, the whole meetup between him and the agency leader, which, right here you see happening, was already kind of destined, I think, not per se for failure, but it was destined to go a certain way. And what's interesting in this part is they seem like they're talking at very, calm, chill manner. I mean, Dazai is calm, everyone else is calm for the most part. It's all kept at a very calm level. But you can see that there's some tension to both of these guys. I mean, that's just something that you can see in their mannerisms and their, I feel like their ways of life toward one another and toward the city in general. The whole thing kind of goes down a very sour note at one point where we have them fighting at each other for a quick second. It's not very long of a fight, but this is the first time we've actually seen the leader do anything of the agency, and kicks ass, this guy. Holy shit. But it was actually the illusion the whole time, and, they say, hey, listen, we want you to just stay behind because we're gonna have Dazai, who right now I'm showing this scene, him going in to infiltrate to get Q. Just stay out of this, the poor mafia, stay out of it. And poor mafia kind of agrees, but there's a little caveat to their thing where they make it sound like they're agreeing to it, but they have a secret plan set in motion. So when Dazai arrives here and is immediately surrounded, as you probably saw already from the first couple seconds of this loaded up, we have Dazai going, well, so what am I going to do with this? And, he's already trying to think of what he's going to do. But, of course, it's not that simple because an old friend shows up. Well, quote-unquote friend. That is Chuuya. So Chuuya comes in, and what's cool is that this whole group, like, these two apparently were a big rivalry against each other. I mean, you saw that from the first season, how they interacted with them in the first season with these characters. But in general, we learn a little bit more about their rivalry and how they're kind of friends and not friends. I mean, it was very funny, but they kick all the various soldiers' asses. They kick the Lovecraft and the other guy who I can't remember, the one with grape abilities, and they rescue Q. Quote unquote rescue Q. Dazai was actually going to kill him, it looked like, but really what Dazai planned to do was use Q as a means of keeping himself alive because they need, Dazai's ability to nullify any other gift. And without that, if Q's already dead, they don't have to worry about him being around anymore, so they can kill him off at any time. So, he uses that insurance purposes. But it looks like everything should be going well. I mean, they got him out of there. They were taking all these things. No, let's just say, come on, this is Bungou Stray Dogs. This is not how it happens. Lovecraft appears again, and he is way creepier and way scarier. And let's just say he is also a beast, man. Damn, I mean, it's from the obvious if you've seen this episode already that it's not going to stay that way. But he does some cool shit of this where, well, cool and creepy stuff that really is reminiscent of a lot of the Lovecraft books. I mean, this could be something straight out of Cthulhu, but Dazai and Chuuya have to go fight him, and it looks like they're on the weaker end of this. Like, so they're getting pushed around. Dazai does a funny scene where you see his arm get torn off, it looks like, with the cast and everything. And I was wrong originally because there's a scene that comes up, and I'll explain what exactly I was wrong about, but there's a scene where it shows the cast I thought went flying out of the screen, but it really was actually just on the tentacle of the creature of Lovecraft. I will say why that's important in a second, but They decide, okay, we need to fight this guy and we need to be able to somehow win. Chuuya, you have to go full out. And Chuuya, by going full out, was very interesting. But the reason for him having to go full out is because of this right here, where we have Lovecraft going into super mode of sorts. Like, this is now Call of Cthulhu. I mean, damn, this thing is creepy. It's really creepy. But what's interesting about this is where we see Chuuya take off his gloves and he gets really serious. Now, I want to say that, when I said before with the cast disappearing off screen, I thought there's a reason why him having it still attached to his tentacle was a very important moment, and I'm glad that I was able to realize that I was wrong. I was watching this with someone, and they said, you're wrong, and I went back and watched the scene again, and yeah, I was wrong, so I do admit that. But Chuuya goes in and starts fighting him at full power, which we find out is actually his real gift. His real gift is like gravitation of himself, also, that he could actually shoot out giant orbs and cause all this gravitational damage and stuff like that, but at the cost of him losing his mind, because he goes into like a rage of sorts where he can't see anything but people to kill. And he'll keep going until he dies. Now, he does kill with Dazai's help, because the cast Dazai had actually had a bomb inside of it, and the whole part of it attaching to him. I was wondering at first how the hell that worked. And this is, by the way, this scene right here is where we see Chuuya get his power. He's still using it, but luckily Dazai goes over to him, touches him, so this way he doesn't die from overusing his power. But I was wrong about originally the cast, because I thought the cast was just all of a sudden implanted in Lovecraft's like giant creature form, but it actually was still there when his arm came out. His tentacle grabbed in the first place, so it probably took it upon himself. Also, that's why Dazai was able to use the explosives in it. That was, for me, that was a little weird, and then I realized, okay, I was wrong, so it's a little less weird. Overall, though, that fight was really cool. I mean, Chuuya kicked ass in this episode. He really did a lot of cool stuff. I was just in general surprised by his actual ultimate form of sorts, where his actual gift was shown. Overall, though, I'm very curious where this is going to go from next week's episode. I heard, by the way, for those who care about that, definitely watch after the credits. There's no preview, apparently. There's just a kind of funny scene between Dazai and Chuuya, so definitely want to check that out. I didn't watch that myself personally, but because I actually have to get going in like a couple minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. As always, if you do, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. You know the whole nine. I will talk to you all guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.